This is a steal for the Boston Red Sox. A brand new mock trade has just been released involving the Red Sox and top starting pitcher for the Washington Nationals, left-handed phenom McKenzie Gore. I'm here to break down the entirety of this mock trade and whether or not it makes sense for either side and if the Red Sox could actually pull the trigger and try to get this done. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first remember to scroll down and click that subscribe button, as nearly 90% of you guys watching are not currently subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down a crazy new mock trade that has a lot of speculation and rumors flying across social media involving this Boston Red Sox organization. And the reason being is because of the pieces they would, one, have to give up, and the one major piece they would be getting back in exchange. Now, Bleacher Report went on to post this on Instagram as well as other social medias, as well as posting an article that we will tag down below in the description if you'd like to read it in its entirety. But they go through the top 7 landing spots for McKenzie Gore. Now, if you don't know who McKenzie Gore is, he is a young left-handed phenom for the Washington Nationals who's having a career year this year, without a doubt. He is simply filthy. Now, there's no way to beat around the bush here. He is gross. And if you look at the K percentages, the whiff percentages, as well as the chase rate, they all correlate. They're all well above league average, and for good reason. If you go and watch some of the performances, he's been phenomenal. And no, he's not just beating up on the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Colorado Rockies or these subpar organizations. He's going out there and he's simply performing regardless of the team that he is facing. You see his most recent dominant performance against the Chicago Cubs, one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in all of baseball. Gore went 6 innings, no earned runs, in 13 Ks. And it doesn't end there. The performance before that against the Philadelphia Phillies, another very credible opponent, 7 innings, no earned, 7 Ks. And again, if you look through the rest of these slips, it gets better and better regardless of how difficult the opponent may be, at least on paper going into that game. And if you look through the years, McKenzie Gore has been in the league for 5 seasons now. He has gotten better and better and better year after year, and now is having a legitimate career year. There are a few blemishes without a doubt, but he is still only 26 years of age, playing for a Washington Nationals organization that simply just cannot find a rhythm and cannot find a groove, regardless of whether it's overall for the entirety of the baseball team or if they get some good performances from their pitching. The offense seems to lay an egg, and if the offense seems to perform, the pitching seems to lay an egg. If McKenzie Gore was on a respectable, incredible team like the Boston Red Sox that would have no limits on the run support they would be able to provide him night in and night out when he was on the bump, I think he could transform into one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball. And the 1-2 punch of him and Garrett Crochet would be outright terrifying. And it would by far and away be the best 1-2 punch in the MLB, especially when it came to the left-handed arsenal. But now, what does this mock trade actually look like? What would the Boston Red Sox actually have to give up to get McKenzie Gore? Well, out of the 7 top landing spots, the Boston Red Sox find themselves as the number 1 option based off of Bleacher Report's reporting, and it goes on to break down the trade proposal, saying the Red Sox would get left-handed pitcher McKenzie Gore, as well as first baseman power-swinging Nathaniel Lowe. In exchange, they would give up Franklin Arias, Wilyer Abreu, and Peyton Toll. Now, 2 of those guys, top prospects in the Red Sox farm system, and they've already given up a lot of prospects to start this entire conversation. Before we even get into it, you guys remember the Garrett Crochet trade that was made this past offseason? A mandatory move that the Red Sox had to make because of the big names they missed out on in free agency, which seems to look like a really, really good thing. Blake Snell hasn't been healthy this year for the Los Angeles Dodgers, despite getting paid a king's ransom. Max Fried, I will argue, has probably been the only other option in the free agency market that looks like it would have actually worked out in the sense of health. He is now pitching for the Pinstripes, those god-awful Yankees, and he's playing pretty damn well, as he's been a model of consistency the entirety of his career. But now, Garrett Crochet is a part of this Red Sox organization. He's obviously younger than those guys we mentioned earlier, and he is becoming the dominant workhorse and just ace that everyone was hoping to see in Boston, and it's really just been an excellent move by the Red Sox. Tip your cap to Craig Breslow. It's something we don't normally do on this channel, or it feels like it doesn't happen from Red Sox Nation, as Breslow seems to be making moves that just make everyone question and pull their hair out, and moving Devers, and in the moment everyone questioned it, and I understand. But going on, it seems like things are simply working for this Red Sox team in the trades they have made. Now, before we get into the actual nitty-gritty and whether or not the Red Sox should move someone like Wilyer Abreu, as well as the number 2 and number 4 prospect in their farm system, let me quick just say the Red Sox should not make a trade if it does not work, like, without forcing anything. Do not try to shape your own mentality, and I'm speaking in the sense of don't let Breslow, Sam Kennedy, or any of these guys in the front office just shift their own mentality to make themselves believe that this trade is going to work or any trade on the horizon is going to work. Be confident. Be just understand and really believe the idea that these trades that you want to make are going to work. Do not go out there and force a move trying to acquire some pitching, giving up too much talent, giving up the wrong talent, and then setting back this Red Sox team in other ways outside of the pitching aspect. Yes, the Red Sox, as well as every competitor in the MLB. This is not an exaggeration. It's not coming from me directly. You can check any MLB site, any MLB page that covers the game of baseball, whether it's in form of podcast, MLB Network, regardless of the source. Every competitor in the MLB that wants to see themselves in the Fall Classic trying to win a World Series ring needs pitching. Whether it's starting, relief guys, high leverage guys, closers, it does not matter. Everyone needs more pitching. Now, the Red Sox are a part of that bubble of teams that need pitching, without a doubt. And starters would certainly help. And McKenzie Gore would not only help this year, but he would help for the years coming, as he has another 3 years of protection and really flexibility, if you will, under this contract. So if the Red Sox were to go out there and acquire McKenzie Gore in a trade before the MLB trade deadline, they would have, the 9 days to make that trade, and then they would have 2.5, 3 years of control of McKenzie Gore before he entered free agency. And obviously they could extend him beforehand and not let a bidding war commence for him, because we can all assume, based off the numbers we have seen up to this point in the year, he is going to continue to get better and his value is going to continue to go up and up and up. But for the trade package, let's focus on Wilyer Abreu before we get to the actual young prospects in Franklin Arias as well as Peyton Toll, who are both high-ranked prospects, as we mentioned earlier and showed you guys in the farm system, but also just Wilyer Abreu. I don't know if the Red Sox can give up Wilyer Abreu. Yes, they have a surplus of talent in the outfield, and right now, as currently constructed, Duran's in left, Cedon's in center, also playing a few reps at second base, and then in right field, you have a platoon of Wilyer Abreu and Roman Anthony. Both guys are left-handed bats. Both guys are phenomenal, and I honestly don't want to see any of these guys moved. But at some point, the Red Sox may have to make a move in order to add some depth to the pitching staff. And that's just something that has to be done. And it's just the way this business goes. And unfortunately, that's what the game of baseball and all professional sports are in reality. It's a big business, and the Red Sox are a piece of that business, and they have to be able to compete. And if they want to go out there and continue to battle amongst these top-ranked teams, especially in the late stages of this season going into the playoffs in October, they're going to need more pitching. And in order to do so, they're going to have to give up one of these outfielders, whether it's Wilyer, whether it's Jarren Duran. I'm not even going to mention Roman because it's not happening. And Cedon Rafaela, going into the All-Star break, was arguably one of the best players in the game of baseball on both sides, whether it's defensively and offensively, or one in particular. Cedon is up there, and I know the last 2.5, 3 games have not been great. That first series post All-Star game, or post All-Star break against the Cubs, he wasn't the same Cedon in that 10-game stretch, that 20-game stretch we saw going into the break. Allow a little bit more time. It feels like the beginning of the regular season once again coming out of this break. There's going to be a small slump, and we saw in the first 2 games of that series against the Chicago Cubs, one of the best teams in baseball, arguably, if not definitively, the best offense in baseball, and the Red Sox were able to scrap back in that 3rd game of the series and really rally and win a close game that was close through 8 innings. And it's because the offense was not working. But then Wilyer Abreu decided to show up and show out. And there's no other way to really say it. He was phenomenal. He went 2 of 3 with 2 home runs. And he added 3 RBIs and a walk in this appearance. And overall, Wilyer was the spark plug for this Red Sox team, specifically on the offensive end. There was no offense. It felt like nothing was working for the Red Sox. The swing and miss was way out of control. It was back to the start of this regular season where the strikeouts were the tops of the league, only behind the Colorado Rockies for the first 2 months of the season. And that's what the first 2.5 games felt like against the Cubs. But then something happened. Wilyer found a pitch. He left it up, and he was able to punish the relievers for the Cubs, who haven't been great up to this point in the year, but have gotten better over as of late. But Wilyer made them pay, and it felt like a switch was flipped and the Red Sox returned to form like we saw going into the All-Star break. But that leaves us to an even harder question now. Why would you move Wilyer Abreu? Well, you have to move someone. Would you rather move Wilyer? Would you rather move Jarren Duran? It's a big question that all of Red Sox Nation is having to face right now, including the front office and the organization itself, because obviously everyone wants to win and everyone loves the players currently on this roster. They just don't want to see them moved. But the problem is the Red Sox have to get better. And in order to do so, they have to move assets to get assets back in return. And getting McKenzie Gore would be substantial. But again, you'd be giving up a Gold Glove candidate in right field in Wilyer Abreu, as well as someone who can swing the bat. Now, the averages and the numbers you see here were before yesterday's Game 3 in that series against the Cubs. So there is a small blemish. 18 home runs is really 20 home runs for Wilyer Abreu, leading the Boston Red Sox currently. And he's hitting just under 260 based off of this. It's probably a bit higher. It's 252 here. It's probably right around 258, 260 if I had to guess after that two-hit performance yesterday, as well as adding a walk. The OPS has definitely gone up for Wilyer Abreu since the screenshot was taken just 30 hours ago. And I won't lie to you guys. I recorded this video once before that game took place, and I was a bit indifferent in the idea that, hey, we have to move an outfielder anyway. Would you rather give up someone in Duran who can not only be a Gold Glove finalist in the outfield and left field, but or really anywhere in the outfield that you put him, as well as someone who's going to hit around 270, 280, also steal 40 bags this year? I was about to say 30, but he's already at 20 this year? He's at 17 or 18 already. He's going to continue to steal bags, and I don't believe the Red Sox are going to just pick straws here. I think behind closed doors, they have their mind made up of who they would rather move and who they're going to go out there and offer to these organizations, whether it's the San Diego Padres, whether it's the Washington Nationals. But right now, McKenzie Gore may be a big topic of conversation across the league, not only for the Red Sox, but for other teams looking to compete right now and for the years coming. I think this, by far and away, we've mentioned Sandy Alcantara, we've mentioned Mitch Keller, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, the two guys from the Padres, both in Dylan Cease, as well as Michael King, who's currently injured and has been on and off the injury report all year long. With the amount of control you'd get from McKenzie Gore, as well as the potential and the flat-out filth that you're getting from him right now, McKenzie Gore is by far and away the most valuable option on the board, even over Edward Cabrera. He's left-handed. He's a massive human being, and he is filthy. Like, he is, if you have not watched McKenzie Gore, last year he was abysmal. He was legitimately horrible, one of the worst pitchers in the league. He had probably 2 good appearances all of last year. But this year, it feels like every time he touches the mound, he's either a Cy Young candidate or just below it. Yes, everyone has a bad day, and I'm not saying McKenzie Gore is Tarek Skubal. I'm not saying that. But I am here to tell you, he flirts with moments where he is on just below the level of Tarek Skubal. I can't say this on the same level as Tarek because no one's on that level right now, as once again, he dominated last night again. But another piece of information giving us an idea that there may be a chance McKenzie Gore could be available if the Boston Red Sox offer a large enough package. This tweet from John Heyman, someone we cite on this channel all the time, goes on to tweet this afternoon. Several teams have called the Nats about all-star lefty starter McKenzie Gore. New Nats GM Mike DiBartolo, excuse me if I said it wrong, has said that while he prefers to keep the core group, he'll, quote, always listen, end of quote. Probably a long shot with more than 2 years before free agency, but worth teams trying. And I 100% agree with John Heyman. If there is a chance to go out there and steal McKenzie Gore from this Washington Nationals team for a price that is not a king's ransom, I think this is a phenomenal move and would actually be a steal for the Boston Red Sox. If you're discussing the farm system and you're concerned about the overall amount of farm system players that have been given up to this point in the year, I understand it's a problem. But with the farm guys that are already on the MLB roster playing in the professional stage, these guys in Meyer, Campbell, and Roman are going to be here for a decade, if not longer, for this Red Sox organization if everything works out, as well as the guys they are going to continue to build around. Not to mention, yes, it's number 2 and number 4 in the farm system. That's not to mention everyone else. There are still a lot of young, really good pieces in this Red Sox farm system that they are going to be able to build around. So don't just jump the gun yet on these prospects. The biggest question mark is going to be about Wilyer Abreu. Let me know down below what you guys think about this overall conversation and whether or not you would like to see Wilyer plus these 2 prospects moved for a young stud in Nathaniel Lowe in McKenzie Gore, as well as complementary piece, a power bat at first base, a left-handed bat in Nathaniel Lowe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.